The travel of Watford to Wembley is metaphoric length, 1 day each 35-year, but virtually rather brief, on part and time downward the M1. Except, of year, you dwell on the some party of the planet. Watford FC's at first exterior in the FA Cup definitive with 1984 has induced fans all above the ball to journey thousands of miles to see the Hornets act in the senior domestic soccer contest in the planet, versus Manchester Town on Saturday. Mark Worrell, 48, excited to Sydney, Australia in 1999, and has done a travel of almost 17,000 kilometers, 10,563 miles, to the UK to see the crew he has backed for 40 years. Initially of Hemel Hempstead, Hertfordshire, he began support Watford elderly Aitons in Hemel you each backed them or one of the London teams. I begun for the nice times while Graham Taylor was officer and Elton John was president, they were the famed days, he told. He now rests the Hornets downward by Facebook web page, that has on 300 members, and he frequently meets comrade supporters to look the big games in the previous several hours. A 15 o'clock BST boot off is stroke of midnight in Sydney, but while the clock's changing in both of countries it is 2 o'clock. We don't encounter up as lot now as we utilize to since in Sky we can look games in our residing rooms, but we yet encounter for the big games, he told. It's fun if you're in a pub in the town and it's a Saturday play, since it's previous Monday night for us and human beings miracle why down there are all these British human beings shouting their heads away to the semi-final I was drive household at on 5 o'clock and observer human beings departure to job. Yet it's very lightweight to pursue Watford in Australia. I can look more than games dwell rather than I can in the UK, as you can look the 3 p.m. boot off games dwell. It hasn't ever been how lightweight. While he at first excited, the web was each non-existent or just accessible at job. While I at first came above I had to get a Monday night paper of the gasoline plant, they ever had the British lot but they were buried among the race results. Mark told it was a not-brainer to go above for the definitive and it was in fact cute lightweight to get tickets. While we've lost shut in the FA Cup in the history I've ever told, if we get to the definitive I'm departure. I don't include unrestricted cash but am lucky to strike a few thousand for the, he told. If Watford done a addiction of receive to finals it might be hard, but 1 day each 35 year, it's not a issue at the time. Forecast, Watford to win 2-1. Seed previous purpose, whether the attack later struggle behind. Range of Wembley, 1048 kilometers, 651 miles. Truls has been a fan with 1994 while he was taking into account Watford in the Soccer Officer Act by Male Play Football Supremos. Now marital, to June, a ex-Norse at first department gamer for Langsund, and in 3 family, his entire household is amazed. Supporters Clubhouse Watford FC Norway was begun in 2009 and Truls has run it Indiana OLE John Tveda with 2017 while it had 82 members. It now has 337. They look and listen matches dwell on TV and wireless and in regional pubs. The couple include Cup definitive tickets, but Refuge been capable to get tickets for their families. They will look the play in Watford and do the largest of their weekend by departure to Harry Potter Planet. The reality they are flyer out on Friday will not indicate lot to those in the UK. Yet, they will be lacking Norway Day, famous to mark the day the nation got its basic law in 1814, or, by all accounts, a really big transactions that involves a lot of ice cream consuming. Yet, as OLE told, the goes up all. Forecast, I believe it will be a 1-1 paint and Watford will win in additional period. Range of Wembley, 9,632 kilometers, 5,985 miles. Andy was 5 while he begun support the Hornets, they were in the 4 department and it was the at first year Graham Taylor was officer. Initially of apron, fair 20 protocol of Watford, he was undertaken to matches by his daddy, on in his older sibling, who are both of yet time of year card holders. Following driving to Shanghai in 2009 and later post Kong in 2013, he watches matches each at household or in a pub, and usually comes behind to the UK one day a year. If whatever, it is facilitating to pursue of there as all the games are dwell on TV, though several are at unsociable several hours, he told. We include fair begun the HK supporters team and on 15 include signed up so distant. Andy will be in the UK for on 40 several hours for the definitive, inbound Friday and outgoing on Saturday, and told it had been costly, quite rather than hard to organize. Forecast, 2-2 later fine fire out and who knows. Range of Wembley, 5,558 kilometers, 3,453 miles. Felix begun the New York Hornets in 2011 while he excited to Brooklyn of London and they look each match stick dwell, mostly at the soccer plant in Manhattan. It's difficult to say how lot members down there are but it's among 10 to 50. For the act off definitive a few year ago we had a packed pub. We hold conclusion more than Hornets in the big poem. Felix, who has been a advocate with he was 17, will be in London for 2 days for the definitive in on 20 other of New York. This clubhouse was extraordinary and helping us in organize to be capable to sit along, he told. Air transportation were ordered queued quickly subsequently and job is embarrassed on which precisely I'm flyer above to. I newly became a dad, so am possessing to keep my woman for the weekend in our 5-month-old for the definitive, yet my woman was the one to speak me to go. She knows our recent FA Cup was in '84 and which a enormous transactions it is. This recent play I went to see was Watford v Chip Castle in December 2016, while Harry the Hornet dived in front line of Wilfred Zaha. Forecast, 1-1 and we win it on penalties. Unknown things include happened in latter weeks. Range of Wembley, 18,332 kilometers, 11,391 miles. Mark has been next Watford with the 1970s, fair up the Graham Taylor epoch, in spite residing in Bedford, wherever Luton City was a more than evident selection. He was in New Zealand for 2 years for the period they got assigned to the later at first department, were runners up to Liverpool and got in Europe, but the was all up the web. Several weeks you had to expect before the Tuesday or environment to get the results in the document. How was all I acquired, and the random play on the key points shot, he told. Back to the UK in 1984, he told he bunked off Saturday night classes at Bedford High School to go to the Cup definitive, that did not rotate out so. I had fair go behind of New Zealand so it's equitable to say my obligation to Saturday classes was not very down there, he told. I rang impatient and went to the play, but ended up by the tube and was spotty on TV by my shape tutor and on part the high school. Unnecessary to tell, the expertise on Monday was not large. Mark refundable to New Zealand in the deceased 1980s and done a few trips behind to look games, but with 2014 he has been behind each year in holidays plan about the midweek and weekend games how allow him to get to the largest in 3 weeks. I ever told I would go behind for the Cup definitive if we always got behind down there and while I wrote my ladle listing for my 50th recent year it was the top item on it, he told. Unnecessary to tell, following the Wolves play my woman requested if I was departure, I mind on it and took all of part other to tell, I would love for. So the travel is at. He told he would be behind in period for bed following environment. Forecast, I would love to believe we can hit the prospect, we include to several period. A tight win to us or a go in the garden for town, everything happens I am out to delight the day and build several memories.